share and do everything I need to do today. We've had some extra visitors, some fun this morning. So welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started since we only have 30 minutes today with Johanna, and we want to make sure we get all of our time in. Welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. I'm Andrea Young. I serve as parent educator and communications lead at ECAC. And today we are glad to be joined by Johanna Lynch, who is the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction Office of the Exceptional Children's Parent Liaison. Today, she'll be talking about her role and sharing information about how she assists families and public school units. So we are very excited to have Johanna with us, and I am going to pull up her presentation.
So, hi everyone. I'm just gonna shut off my camera now. This is me. Good to meet you. Good to meet you all, even though we haven't actually spoken. And thanks for joining us today. So I'm gonna stop my camera and focus on talking to you about what I do. So I am the parent liaison. I started February 14th, so I'm still relatively new to the role, and I'll tell you a little bit about my background. You can move to the next slide. That'd be great, Andrea. So I'm just going to share a little bit about me. I am a parent. My husband and I have 2 children. Our second, now a young adult, was identified with a hearing loss at age 2 and was acquired, not there at birth. And so when we moved to North Carolina 14 years ago, I eventually wound up working with Beginnings for Parents of Children who are deaf or hard of hearing for about 10, well, it was 10 and a half to 11 years, helping parents navigate EC processes from early intervention until adulthood. I joined parents for those meetings. I was a home visitor. I mentored parents as they navigated the diagnosis of hearing loss and helped them. I collaborated with early intervention schools, and I attended IEP meetings with parents to help them learn and navigate the process without me. I have also been a parent representative in both New Hampshire and in North Carolina on state and national initiatives to improve outcomes for students who are deaf or hard of hearing. Next slide, Angela. Thanks. Andrea, sorry. So the reason why I wound up joining the Office of Exceptional Children was I had been working with parents for a very long time, and most of them had children with hearing loss. Obviously, well, they all had children with hearing loss, but then I noticed that a lot of the parents were also having children who had other needs as the years progressed. And I was learning an awful lot about complex needs, whether they were medical or social, and educational needs that were just not just hearing loss. And so I became very interested in those families who needed that level of support, and decided when I saw this opportunity at DPI to give this a try so I could work with parents across the state and just learn more and be as supportive as I possibly could be. And so what I do is I'm a contact point here for parents, and you're going to get my contact information if you don't already have it. You can call me if you have questions, if that's about the EC process itself, starting the process, questions about interactions with your team, or if you're having concerns with your team, or in general with the LEA. So I also, I answer questions about federal and state regulations, and I give parents information about additional resources that are available in their state and their region. And so that would be like ECAC or Family Support Network in their area. Next slide, Andrea. Thanks. So as a contact point for you, I speak with parents who have questions or concerns, but I listen. So I am going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to listen to what your concerns are. I am going to hopefully help you solve whatever your concern is. And I'm here to also just promote awareness of child advocacy issues, accessibility, and I find approaching accessibility not just on the needs for students, but also accessibility for parents. I'm trying to focus on that. How can I make sure that the information that we are all providing to parents is accessible for all parents? So I consult with the Office of Exceptional Children's team members to ensure information that's shared with parents is easy to understand and not in language that is not a language parents might understand. If it's education language, that's really challenging for parents. So I try to ensure that any information being disseminated from the Office of Exceptional Children is easily accessible in that way. And as I said, I collaborate with the other state agencies and parent agencies across the state, and I support all of the Office of Exceptional Children teams. So that might look all the different consultants across the state. Next slide. So I help parents understand the meetings that are required to consider and develop an IEP and all the required steps. I work with parents who have children who are preschool or older. If so, 3 and up to 21. If a child is younger than 3, I can ensure a parent gets connected to an appropriate consultant within DPI, because we have an early childhood exceptional children's office now. When a parent contacts us with concerns, I review the IEP and clarify any questions that I might have. So if you call in and you've shared your story with me, I'm going to ask some questions, review your child's IEP, and then come up with a game plan with you. One of the first things I tell a parent when they call in is that the Office of Exceptional Children, we contact the EC director in your LEA if a parent has called in, and we share the parent's concern with the EC director. I always ask permission to do this. However, I will say if a parent says no, it can be my support can be less effective. I can still give you support and information. The goal for the Office of Exceptional Children is that we would like these issues to be remedied locally with your EC director. That's why we're giving them a heads up. This is what's happening locally. Can you address this? Because that's always the goal. We don't want you to have to go to a dispute resolution process. We're trying to avoid that for you. And if you can't reach an agreement with your team, if your IEP team, if I just start discussing those dispute resolution options with you and help you navigate it. So I'm just going to touch on these. I don't want to really kind of discuss them in full. If you have a lot of questions, I can answer those. But the goal, like I said, is if you need to go through dispute resolution, I start you with the basics. We're discussing facilitation, mediation. If either of those are not an option, then we discuss the complaint process. In due process, I can help explain to parents, but that is something that really happens like not within my specific team at Office of Exceptional Children. That's a process that involves, some outside people as well. Whereas facilitation, mediation, and complaint, those are all things we handle in-house and work with. The due process is just a little bit different. You typically requires a lawyer. All of the information about, I'm kind of going through this quickly. I didn't mean to. Can you go back one slide, Andrea?
Oh, sorry.
Backwards. I'm sorry. Nope, that's, yep, back the other way.
Oh, sorry. Trying to go.
I want to go back to the slide that had facilitation, mediation, and complaint on it. Sorry.
There you go.
Okay. So descriptions of all of these options are available in the Parents' Rights and Responsibilities Handbook that you are typically or should be being handed every year in your IEP meeting, or at least offered. So if you have one or more copies, you can certainly look through there to find the information, but I can also help just break it down pretty easily for you. So in terms of facilitation, that is a third party that helps a team come to an agreement. And how that happens is a parent or a school team can request facilitation in writing. Both parties need to agree to facilitation. If they do, what happens is one of our consultants here is Teresa King. She will help you get connected. A facilitator is assigned, and then that facilitator contacts both parties to talk about what are the concerns and what are the sticking points. Facilitator, along with the parent and the team, they schedule a meeting, and then the facilitator creates an agenda to keep the team on task and to make sure everybody's, being civil and kind of getting through what are the sticking points here. Facilitators do not make any decisions at IEP meetings. They are there literally to just facilitate communication between teams and parents and hope to come to an agreement. So mediation is a formal process where you request a mediator. Both parties need to agree. Schools or parents can request mediation. Once a mediator is assigned, you will get contacted by the mediator. But this is a meeting that happens outside of an IEP. And it's a conversation typically between the parent or parents and the EC director with the mediator, so that they're hoping to mediate the issue and get you guys to move forward. A complaint is if you have something that the team has fallen short on, if they haven't met timelines, or you have other concerns about your IEP that might be your student's IEP that might be complaint worthy. The complaint is a formal process as well. It's a form we have that you can fill out. There's very specific information that we need on there. And I can make sure you get a copy of the forms. I believe they're also online on our website, but if you need anything, you can always call me. And the complaint is you fill out this form and what is the issue that you feel like the team is not doing correctly, or that they haven't followed IDEA properly or state guidelines. And you don't need to know like the law, the numbers, or anything like that. You don't have to cite anything out of the parents' rights book or our policies manual. You really just have to put down what the issue is. And you will find out if that complaint is sufficient to go through investigation or not after it's been filed. If it is found to be sufficient, there is enough information and the consultant can actually investigate it, the investigation happens. And it takes 60 days from the time that we receive your letter until the report comes out, the findings of the investigation. And then, as I said, due process, that really requires a lawyer. I have information about where you can file all that stuff if you need it. So if you have a specific issue that you want to discuss, please give me a call. My contact information is going to be on the last slide. So we can go to the next slide now.
Joanna, we actually have one question in the Q&A. That person's asked, have there been no changes to the procedural safeguards since 2016, as it says July 2016 on there?
That is correct. There have not been changes. So I also get calls about parents who have children who are receiving, accommodations through a 504 plan. I just wanted to put this up here. I share Frida's phone number with people all the time. If you have an issue about a 504 plan, that is a general education provision and not Office of Exceptional Children. So while I have lots of experience with 504 plans, I cannot discuss them with you. Next slide. So this is the thing I'm hoping that parents can sign up for. It's, if you haven't already, there is a parent and family newsletter that the former parent liaison here at the office, she used to send one out twice a month. I'm not at that point yet. I'm going to do monthly. And what I'll be sharing out on these newsletters is any information that I might think might be helpful about helping parents understand the IEP process in general. Any guidance that is updated from the Office of Exceptional Children that will be sent out. Information about dispute resolution processes. Also, I'll be spotlighting different parent agencies and groups. So ECAC, that's actually next up on my agenda for my newsletter. And I'll also share information about transitions and how parents can get support through those transitions. Kind of more thinking about like transition from preschool, from early intervention into preschool, and then transition to adulthood. Events and opportunities that happen around the state. This is important for me as a parent to make sure that parents know that these opportunities exist for trainings or just even meeting other parents, because I have found that as a parent myself, it was invaluable to meet other parents who had been in the same situation as we had, and our families could kind of get to know each other. So that's always a goal for me, is that parents find other parents that they can build relationships with. So sometimes that's just going to look like links on the newsletter that will come out monthly. You click on that link, you go to that agency and see what they have going on. There are also sometimes I get just sent information about like upcoming camps and those types of things. Those will be sent out kind of individually as they come through. The newsletters will be available in both English and Spanish, and whatever else I can get that's available in Spanish, that will also be being sent out. Next slide. Oh, so here's the link for where you can sign up. And I forgot I included this. So you just click on that link, or I don't know if I guess people aren't going to get a copy of this, but if you need the link, they can get a copy. Okay, then you can send that out.
We're going to send it out after.
Excellent. You can just click on that link in there, and go sign up to receive updates to your email monthly. And so this is just kind of to help you understand. So this is really just literally a breakdown of who does what here. I assist parents with understanding their child's rights. And I connect with EC's director and resources. Well, I connect parents to those. And I provide guidance on how to handle certain special education situations. Your consultants can really kind of help in answering questions around policies that perhaps I'm not as familiar with. I certainly give this a go before I send you off to a consultant. So I can always be the first point of contact unless you are currently working with a consultant on an investigation or a complaint. Then I would probably suggest you contact them. And I know that that's typically through email. So next. This is a list of resources for you all. Anybody who's not familiar with the Center for Appropriate Dispute Resolution Special Education, that's CADRA. That's a great website that has a lot of trainings on it, or just information for parents that's clear. It's a website that I have used a lot in the past, and I just really like it. Obviously, ECAC's website we're linking here, they do a ton of really great trainings as well, and are very specific to North Carolina. So just some other things there available for you. So I kind of went much quicker than I thought I was going to. It's only been 18 minutes. But here is my contact information. So if you have questions, I don't want to get into specifics about your students online, but if you have some general questions that I can help with, we can do that. And I will share my camera again.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Johanna. I know that a lot of people probably didn't even know your role existed, so it's great to let everyone know what you do and how you connect parents. Before we definitely want to take some questions since we have some extra time, but first I'm gonna post a poll. If our participants could fill that out, we love to get your feedback. And let me
Yes.
do that.
So, hi, Jennifer. Charter schools or public schools? So yes, I work with all parents in public schools. I can answer questions about some private school things, but OEC has no oversight there. So
Any other questions? And thank you again for filling out our evaluation. Very much appreciated.
so question is posted, would you be able to help if I was denied for IEP, but granted a 504. I guess, do you have, if you have questions about whether the IEP team's decision was appropriate, you can certainly give me a call. Oh, I didn't put a slide on there with my contact, did I? I thought I had. I am going to
I
add,
think it was the last slide, which we will send out.
okay,
All of the slides to everyone that attended, along with, in that email will be your contact information as well.
great. Oh, so I had in the Q&A, how can I locate your role in my state if I am not in North Carolina? Depending on which state you're in, I'm not sure, but whatever your Department of Education or Department of Public Instruction is called, you can contact their Office of Exceptional Children, or they have different names. So it may be special education. I'm not sure which state you're in, but you can contact your state office to find out who your parent liaison is.
Quick question. I know you must be busy with all these inquiries, Joanna. So kind of if someone did want to reach out to you, kind of what's your typical turnaround time?
Oh, yeah, actually, I did want to address this. That's a great thing. Thank you for asking. It may take me a day or two to get back to you. It really depends on what's going on. I do get a lot of calls. I have shared my number with every consultant in the state, and it's been broadcast. So I do get a lot of calls, which is great. I love to talk to parents, but just please be generous and understanding in that I will get back to you. If you leave me an email address that I can call you, or if you email me, I can respond to you to email pretty quickly and say, what is your phone number and can we schedule a time to talk? I am big on the scheduling because it really helps me manage my time, and then you know when to expect my call.
There's another question in the Q&A. I'm not sure if it's broad enough for you to answer now, but if the parent concern is that they're not hearing back from the EC for weeks about evaluation to be conducted, what's the best way to move the process forward?
Give me a call. And so I'm just going to like throw my phone number in the chat right here so people feel they got it. And my email address. As I'm sure, Jasmine, if we speak and I call your EC director, I'm hopeful that they will get on.
So
Okay, hang on one second, Nora. Oh. If I can grab this, I'm sorry, Nora. I am trying to copy that so I can at least look to see if I can find a translator for it.
I think she's asking what to do when they're not giving the IEP as established.
Oh, okay. So I do have access to interpreters. So Nora, if you can email me, I will be able to help you.
Are there any other questions? I did want to mention next week, the 30th, we will have the Autism Society with us in honor of Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, talking about autism and what they do. So please join us for that. If there's any more questions, we still have a couple minutes. If not, we'll give you a few minutes back to your day. And we thank Johanna for being with us today. Well, I know she'll probably get a lot of phone calls more after this, but that's great because we love some resources and help for our parents.
Yes, and I love doing this, so give me a call. Just sorry I didn't have much more else to say about my job because it's pretty, I answer the phone.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for joining us. And thank you, Anastasia, for putting that information
Thank
out
you.
there. Appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.